Good evening, and welcome back. Wherever it is that you are tuning in from, it is probably still Monday. So it is beginning of the week. Depends on who you are and where you are. You might be looking forward to having off tomorrow if you have off for Veterans Day. You didn't know Veterans Day is tomorrow. I know a lot of people are military vets that tune in to these conversations. And obviously, we are back for the 12 days of relocation, and we have made it to day 8. If you guys have been with us the entire 8 days, I appreciate you for tuning in. You are actually doing what you need to do when people say, do your research. But tonight comes into a specific conversation because obviously I'm here with the guest. And that guest gives you guys the opportunity to understand what this move abroad looks like from a parent's perspective. I know a lot of you are tuning in thinking, do I move abroad? But the opportunity to move abroad with your children presents different challenges than just moving by yourself. Never mind how to navigate once you actually get onto the ground. So, we are going to do our job and we want to do our job and our duty to connect you to a resource that has been able to successfully navigate moving out of the United States, moving to Medellin, and building a life for her and her family. I want to definitely start off with at least introducing Kelly. Kelly is a parent that has made the move out abroad, and tonight she is here to join us to share some of her expertise and being able to do this and say, I actually succeeded. So, Kelly, thank you for joining us tonight.
Oh, no problem. I'm here to share.
No, no, for sure. And I wanted to get into before going too far because I know a lot of people are in a position. Right now, you turn on the news, you go to the grocery store, you may overhear somebody talking about, what is going on in America. And I realize as we continue on, day after day, like there's always something new, it seems. And I realize there are people that 5, 6 months ago, this wasn't on their radar. Yet, considering what continues to develop, it looks like more and more people are going into Google or ChatGPT and actually typing in, how do I leave the United States? What's your take on that, Kelly?
I think that they're on the right path. I think that, I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, this is my country. I need to stay here. Or, some people are like, my ancestors built this place. I'm not going anywhere. It's a lot of different opinions. But I'm
Mhm.
of the opinion of if something is no longer serving you or fitting you, then you might need to make a change. And that change may need to be another country. Because right now, and it's been a while, the United States has not really served African Americans. It's been a while, probably, it's been the whole time. Let me not even say a while. It's been the whole time. But it's now getting to the point to where us as African Americans, we know the game. We've seen it. Our ancestors have been told us about it. We know what's up. But now other people are being attacked. And it's just a matter of time when they're gonna come for us. So it's just like, okay, so what are we gonna do? Are we gonna sit there and just wait until the last minute and then you may not be able to move? Because like right now, flights are being, canceled and all kind of stuff is happening. It's hard to even leave the United States at this point, and we don't know how long that's going to last. So, are you going to wait to the point to where you can't leave, or are you going to go ahead and start making a plan for your family to be safe and secure and happy and thriving in a new location?
That's as real as it can be told because and that's what we're here for. I don't. If you guys are new, let me at least introduce myself. My name is RJ Mood. I'm originally from Philadelphia. Have been living abroad full time for the last 3 years, but bringing people out of the United States, specifically to Colombia, that has been a hat that I have worn for many a year. But the opportunity within the 12 days of relocation is to lead you up. You guys don't know, we are having a virtual relocation conference November 22nd. But the virtual relocation conference brings in the fundamentals. Okay, you need an immigration lawyer, you need a visa consultant, but you do need to understand that you are in a scenario where you actually are going to need just a little bit more than that. When we get into the 12 days of relocation, here we are allowing questions and conversations that are designed around the other stuff that you might have forgot when you talk about moving abroad. A lot of people have just said, okay, let me just pick a destination, let me pick an Airbnb, and let me pack my bag, and that's all I need. And those are the people that are the anonymous participant in the travel group saying, I'm over here and I'm having a bad time, or I think I made a mistake. So these 12 days of relocation are designed to give you some of the things you need ahead of us connecting the dots for you at the virtual relocation conference. Come in. It's okay to ask questions, jump into the comments. Feel to get comfortable because you need to get a little uncomfortable in this entire process. So, a opportunity to ask people that may be in the exact same scenario as you, that have actually done it, that have moved abroad with their children, without their children, and even by themselves. Navigating this is not for the faint of heart, but many people that are actually succeeding are finding that they are succeeding in a way where that it wasn't on their radar to actually succeed this way. I tell you, there are often times when I think about, okay, well, I knew I was going to probably be successful, but did I actually wrap my head around moving abroad and helping others to relocate? No, it wasn't necessarily on my radar, but once doing it and going through the actual motions of moving abroad, I then realized that this was something that was bigger than me. This was bigger than me in the sense of our community and the relationship I have with my folks. And I want to see them succeed, whereas I see so many of us not succeeding in the United States. So tonight's conversation is designed around you, the person that may be looking to move with their children, what that looks like from what you have to do within your house, navigating your child as well as you, but also what do people have to say? It's oftentimes we say, well, you're not by yourself anymore. You have to think differently. And you are thinking differently, but how do you navigate friends and families' perspective on your decision to inquire about moving abroad? So tonight's conversation, I want to make certain if you are not the person that is here for this conversation, no problem. But I need you to share it because there are plenty of people that are looking to move abroad with their children. And even though it is not you, you're going to get some good tidbits here that may still impact you in a positive way, as well as the person that is looking to move abroad. You're going to hear from somebody that actually did it. And she came through our relocation tours that were designed to take that person that doesn't know what to do as far as moving abroad and connect them with everything that they needed to get to. So let's start where you started at, Miss Kelly, because I need people that don't know your story to understand. When you grew up before your kids, were you somebody that was traveling often, or was this something that is now just on your horizons?
No, I was always traveling. Yeah, I always travel. So my family travels. So let me just kind of put a background to it. My family has been on family reunions for 66 years into 2026. So in every year we travel. So every summer since I've been little, I knew I was going somewhere with my family every single summer. So that was already ingrained in me. So my family travels anyway, just internationally. My great aunts traveled and all kinds of stuff, my grandparents. So we are a traveling family. When I got into my 20s, I started traveling internationally a little bit more. So my first international trip was when I graduated high school. Yep, my mom took me to St. Martin. So that was my first international trip. And then from there, I started traveling on my own and traveling with friends and different things. So yes, I've always traveled. I love to travel. This is just really the first time that I'm not gonna say the first time. It's the second time I've traveled long period of time with the kids. The first time
Mm.
I went with the kids, we spent a month in Panama because we were checking Panama out to see if that was the location we wanted to go to. So we decided that wasn't, at least Panama City wasn't, but Panama is still, on the radar, but it's not going to be Panama City. But when I
Okay.
made the decision this time and going on your relocation tour, that's what made me choose Colombia over Panama. So yeah,
Mm.
it's been interesting. It's
Nah.
definitely a difference between traveling by myself and, traveling with the kids.
No, and I bet, like, if you guys don't know, I do not have any children, and that's why this conversation is best held with somebody that does, so we can actually help you. But so many people, Kelly, are in a double scenario. One, they as adults may not have traveled extensively. Two,
Mhm.
they may be going in their first scenario of taking their kids abroad out of the country, getting their passport for their first time. Talk to me about your feelings with that as somebody that was a traveler growing up, having the opportunity to give your kids the opportunity to travel, but your kids are all unique. It's not just me, the junior me, and that just automatically translate. They all have different personalities. How did you navigate that when you first took them out?
Well, so they were okay with like going on vacation, and that's how I always framed it. Even when we came here to Medellin, I framed it as it was vacation, and
Okay.
then later on told them we were staying. Now, whenever we talk about vacation, they're like, okay, they're ready to go. It's not a
Okay.
problem because again, just like I grew up going to my family reunions, they've grown up going to our family reunions as well. So they know the concept of let's travel, let's get on a plane, let's get on this or take a road trip. They know that. Um,
Mhm.
so there's a difference between the two kids because I have two boys. One is 8 and one is 5. So of
Okay.
course there are personality differences. My 8-year-old, he does not like different types of food.
I was wondering
So it's a
that.
it's a struggle. Yes, it's a struggle. He will try it, but he's like, nope. He's quick to say no. Now my 5-year-old, he'll try it. He eats a variety of things. He's more like me. Like he's like, okay, let's go. I'm a foodie. I want it. I want to, let's get it. So that's a little bit of a difference there. Now as far as like when we moved to Medellin, the difference between when I told them we were staying and how they reacted, the
Mm-hmm.
8-year-old was like, I don't know about this. How long are we staying and when are we going home? And the
Uh-huh.
5-year-old was like, all right, I'm good. Let's fine. So it's just like I said, the difference of a personality. Now the 8-year-old is more engaged. He's more into it because we found him a school. He likes the school. So as I find more activities and things for them to do and things he enjoys doing, the more and more he enjoys it. So he doesn't want to go home at this point, but he
Yeah.
is still saying, when is the year up? You know what I mean? He's still kind of like
Uh,
thinking, okay, in a year we're gone and we're going back to the United States. But it's mostly because he misses friends and family, like and it's really our family. He really misses them. So my thing is, I try to do as much as I can to make sure we maintain that connection with the family at home.
Nah, you're bringing up some good points I want to get into because the friends and family thing is really important when considering moving abroad with your children. Understanding support systems that is one thing a lot of people are, I wouldn't say anchored in a negative way, but that keeps them in the United States. Oh, my parents or their grandparents are down the street. They go hang out all of the time. Holidays, these things have always been certain things that we do. And when
Mhm.
moving abroad, you might still be able to go back on holidays, but that proximity isn't there. And you said something that's important is scheduling time to have conversations with loved ones at home. But let me ask you, when you told your family officially that you guys were moving to Medellin, what did they say? Was it all positives? Was it some question marks?
My family was really, really quiet because they know I'm going to do what I want to do anyway. So they know me.
Okay.
I'm that person, like, I don't ask for permission. Like, if you don't pay my bills, you don't contribute to anything, and I'm grown, I'm not asking anything. I will let you know. Right. So they already know that about me. And I also, though, because I wanted to be sensitive to them as well as the children, I also told them we were going on vacation. I also, I told them the same thing I told the kids because, again, we came for 2 months over the summer, just really kind of making sure it was going to be a good fit. Because if it wasn't, we were going to go ahead and go back to the States and then figure out another place to go. So initially, it was kind of like a temporary thing in my mind. But once we made the decision and I told my family, yeah, they were just quiet. They didn't say anything. Now I know they talk to each other, right? They didn't say it to me, but I know they talk to each other. But then I would later on after I told, let's just say a day or two after I told them, then I would get the calls like, okay, well, Colombia is like one of the most dangerous countries. It's on the list. And I was getting those
The
type of things.
list
And I was like,
that the United States
right.
isn't on.
Exactly. So I got that, and then I just kind of had to push back, like, yeah, but I'm here, and it's not what you think. Like, I feel safer here than I do in the United States. Like, I was like, and I had to also remind, like, my mom and some other people, like, you do realize, like, school shootings and these mass things that happen in the United States. That's not really safe either. You know what I mean? Like, I live in St. Louis. That's not a safe city.
Listen, you get on the
You
north side, anything can happen. I
know,
already
it is
listen. I've been to
not.
St. Louis. I was like, what is going on?
Yes, it is not a safe city. So that's why I'm like, no. And the other concern that came up was when I was talking about putting the kids in school. So
Mm,
the grandparents were kind of like, well, we don't know what they'll do to the kids if they, like discipline wise. Like if they get in trouble, we don't know how
uh,
they're going to discipline them and if they're going to try to lock them up. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. First of all,
oh,
they do in the United States. They care about the
pipeline
kids
to
here. They're
prison is in the
never do
U.S.
it like that.
It's, lock them up. No, no,
Yes,
no.
yes, they were like, but I was again. This is thing. I'm like, these are things that happen in the United States. They
Mm,
took do all these things in the United States. They don't do that stuff. They value and treasure their kids here to the point to where I have never seen anybody even discipline their kids here. I feel like I'm the only one that may be like, hey, stop it.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, so it was a little bit of pushback, but it wasn't much. But again, it's all because that's my personality. They know how I am, they know how I move. So that's why I didn't get as much. But that doesn't mean that the next person won't get a lot of pushback because I'm sure they will.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It comes in all ways. Like I said, I don't have kids, and my dad was asking me 1,000 questions, and I'm like, "There's no way that you understand what's going on here, for you to be asking the questions that you are asking." Even there's something that was like, because my work was always remote, so I was always going to make my money regardless of wherever I was at. And he was like, "Well, how much did you save to move abroad, like because you figure in the United States you need first class of security plus moving costs because you're moving your allegedly all of your stuff and things." And I'm like, no, 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 it wasn't like that, bro. Like it was completely different. And he was kind of like, he had traveled before. When my dad played basketball, so they was like, here you're going, this is where you're going. And then he went, and then he came back home. And it wasn't like I want to go there and travel to this particular location. So his understanding of moving around, it was just a different target versus now I'm choosing to come to Colombia. And you're like, why are you choosing to go to Colombia? So I definitely get that portion. One thing that you said, Kelly, because I get a lot of messages, even right before I got on this call, I got a message in or at least it was a comment, and the young lady was talking about going on a relocation tour, and should she go get the visa before she went on a relocation tour. And I was like, and you said that you came and you went on a relocation tour, but then you still gave yourself 2 months to really, really try it. If you didn't like it, you still had flexibility to go back and leave and everything else. And I think that's a very important thing for a lot of people to hear, because you may have been in the exact same scenario before you left, but you said, I'm going to take my time, even if it feels pressing to leave. I am going to take my time to set myself up for success. Can you talk to me about like what your thought process is with that? Because I need somebody tonight to hear that, because people are jumping out of America because of all of the stuff that is going on, which you and I both get.
Mhm.
But it's not okay from a probability of success, especially when moving with children, to just go and jump and go pay all the money to get a visa, go through all of that, so everything, and then have nothing to fall back on.
Okay. Yes. So, all right, let me kind of tell people my process of how I did all of this. So the kids got out of school. Let me step back. I went on a relocation tour in March. I decided, okay, Medellin was a good place for us to go. So when the kids got out of school in May, we immediately, like by June 1st, we were here. We were here in Medellin. So I'm like, okay, we're going to stay here for 2 months and I will make a decision of whether or not we're going to stay or we're going to go and see how the kids feel and how we're adjusted, right? So we stayed until from June until the end of July and went back to the States in August. By July, I had already made my decision that this was going to be the place we would stay for at least 1 year. I said I would give it 1 year to see how we adjusted, how we felt. The kids get them in school and see how life is for them. And then, if we want to stay longer, we will. And if we don't, we'll go to another country because
Hmm.
I have decided I'm not really trying to go back to the United States unless I have to, like when
Right.
it has to be like a dire need for me to go back. So I had not applied for my visa until that point. So we left, okay, excuse me, we went to the United States all of August and we came back September. So we've been here since the beginning of September. I just applied, and this is now the beginning of November. I just applied for my visa. I just submitted my paperwork for my visa last
Listen,
Friday. Friday. I mean, and it's Monday. So,
listen.
like I was like, okay, now I know I'm here. I have my long-term apartment. The kids are in school. We know we're settled. Now I'll apply for the visa and go through that process. Now, Colombia, we don't know what they're going to do with the visa because,
Hmm.
kind of discretionary here, up to a person, whoever has your paperwork to make the decision. But I'm going to be positive and know that I'm going to get my visa and we're going to be
Yep.
here and it'll be fine.
Nah,
So yeah, that
definitely.
was pretty it. And I do feel like I'm glad I did it that way because yeah, I don't want to rush. Visas aren't, you got to pay for it. You got to pay for somebody to process it for you. You got to pay for the visa application. You got to pay for all the paperwork and the apostles and background check. Like you got to pay for all these things. So I didn't just want to waste my money and not want to be here. So now that I know I'm good being here for a while, then I'll make the investment because I had 6 months to be here on a tourist visa. So I mean, why not kind of wait and kind of at least use at least of those 3 or 4 months before I go ahead and invest in being here?
I'm trying to tell them. I'm trying to tell them. Like I said, we process the visas. We help people with that. But like, why? This is not about like funneling money from your pocket into other people's pockets. It's designed for you, the individual, to have a higher probability of success than if you didn't see this conversation. It's understanding that you might go there in the week or 2 weeks that you're over there for the relocation tour. It might be everything you do. You think it's great. And then you come for a month and you really get settled in and you realize, you know what? This isn't sustainable for me. Imagine having nowhere to go. Imagine having given up your job. Imagine having your kids in a place where they can't even go outside. I'm seeing these things on the internet and I'm I'm not tired of them. I'm tired of them from a simple fact of it's just too important, people, to not navigate it this way. And you did it in such a great way to increase the probability of success. The intent that you took is just something that I want other people that are seriously considering this, family or no family, like, you don't need to go get a visa you tomorrow. You also said your passport. Hey, if nobody told you, if you have a blue passport, many of these places, Colombia, Mexico, Panama, you get up to 180 days in the calendar year. That stamp that everybody told you back in the day when passports were some new club that people wanted to be a part of, I'm getting a passport stamp. Well, that stamp gives you a certain amount of time in that country. So let's take Colombia, for example. If you come in, that stamp gives you 90 days consecutive, up to 180 days in the year. You can break that up whatever way you want to, but imagine 180 days to figure it out. Or if you wanted to take that long, before you got into a committed relationship, gave them your background check, told them how you make money, gave them your FBI, already said that. The documentation and apostille process, depending on how you make money, if you work for somebody, that's one thing. But us business owners, you have to show a lot more paperwork and a lot more documents that need to be translated. And I'm like, you don't have to rush out just because you feel the heat, because you will be right back there and not having success in this process if you do it not the way that Kelly just eloquently described. And I just want you guys to understand that's nothing to do with just having children. It's giving yourself a foundation that you can stand on that will allow you to succeed. You said you moved when the kids got out of school, but September comes back around and kids got to go back to school.
Yeah.
How did you get navigated around what options for schooling, because there are many options when doing and living international.
So I actually started looking at schools when we were here in the summer. But the school process is different though. You know, I have to kind of break that down a little bit because I just can't give a blanket statement. Here they have two schedules. You have an A schedule and a B schedule. So some schools may go from January all the way, let's just say until I don't know, maybe September or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what that schedule is. But then other schools that are on the B schedule, and I may be saying this backwards, but they follow the same schedule as the schools in the United States. So they start in August and then they get out in June, something like that, you know? So my kids are on the same schedule as the schools are in the United States.
Okay.
But they did start school late because we didn't have all our paperwork together. Again, this is all about paperwork. So there are certain things you need to know if you plan on moving with kids that you need to leave the United States with, or it's going to be a holdup, or you're going to have to go back to the United States to get these things done. So, for example, I didn't realize that I needed the kids' school records apostilled in order to be turned into for them to go to school here. So I had other documents apostilled, but not that. So when we went back in August, I immediately had to jump on getting that paperwork sent off to get apostilled and hope it came back before we left again, which it did not. So I had to end up having the paperwork sent to me DHL from the United States here to Medellin because I had to have it. So the kids could not go to school at all until I had all of this paperwork in order to turn in, because it has to go to the government and it also has to go to the school. So it's like it's a lot of paperwork. I'm gonna be very, very honest. It's like way more paperwork than I feel like I had to do in the United States when I enrolled them into public school. But it's a different beast. We're international, so plus we didn't have our visa. We still don't, but so that was another situation as well. So I mean, I just had to be flexible, and I had to learn that during this process that things are not going to go the way you think it is in your mind. Because in my mind, I thought, okay, we're coming for the summer. The summer, I'll have time to find them a school, find a place to stay, you know, get that all set up, leave, come back, and then we're good to go. And that's not what happened. It's not what happened. So the kids, yes. So the kids they didn't start school till about mid-September, which really still wasn't bad. School started, I think, August the 12th. So they were about a month behind. But in between that time, I had to start doing some homeschooling. I had to go ahead and just order some workbooks, and we had to do some work at home just so they wouldn't be too far behind. And then they got into school. So
Okay.
I gave you the short story, the short version. But when I say it's a process, it's paperwork, you better be ready.
No, and patience is gonna be key. Patience is definitely gonna be key.
Oh,
Let
yes.
me ask you, because I assume that the kids didn't come speaking Spanish, like, and then they got to school. They were having a good time, summertime, and then they got to school. And was it an English speaking school? Was it bilingual? How did they navigate that?
So it's a bilingual school.
Okay.
I did not want to put them in a all Spanish speaking school because they don't know Spanish at all. So I didn't want to set them up like that because that would have been setting them up for failure at that point. So I put them in a bilingual school. Now, in the future, once they learn more Spanish, I'm definitely open into putting them into a all Spanish speaking school. But right now, this is the route we have to go. In the school we have them in follows like the American curriculum, and just not all of the American curriculum, but it is ran by and owned by two Americans. So therefore, it is kind of very structured like an American school, which is what they need. My kids have to have
No, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. And hearing those options for the people that are looking to move abroad, it is not an out the box cookie cutter solution when it comes. I think it sounds like it's a little bit more customization down to a lot of things. Even talking with some other parents that had specific structures or the ability to not be in the American box, sending the kid to school for 8 hours just because it aligned with people going to work. I know some of the people that I know that are living there, they have their kids in, like, I wouldn't say alternative. It's just different than what it is that we know from going to school. Even like getting out during the middle of the day. I know uh, going around in the middle of the day, you'll see people like kids just at lunchtime, like really outside, like just hanging out. So the
yeah.
entire process and thought process of schooling is definitely different. Now, I know one thing that is the big topic that is going on in the United States is healthcare. And when considering moving abroad, you talked about safety from mass incidents and everything, but a lot of people like, hey, my kid may have pre-existing conditions, or I have pre-existing conditions, or nope, everybody's fine, but what happens if we get sick? How have you been able to navigate what healthcare looks like on the other side of international waters?
Okay. Well, so I have travel insurance for myself and the kids. I
Okay.
came with that because, with kids, you never know what's going to happen with kids. Luckily, I'm knock on wood that nothing has happened with mine, but you never know with kids. So
Mm.
I made sure I have travel insurance, and it's very affordable. I use Safety Wing, so I just, if anything happens while we're here, it's going to be covered. As far as healthcare, I mean, the healthcare is good. I mean, I don't have any personal experience. Like I haven't had any like major things happening, but I have talked to people who've gotten sick or had to have surgery or whatever, and it's been fine. No problems at all. They talk about how great the healthcare is. So, I mean, that is what I have chosen to do for right now. And of course, once I get my visa, then I'll go ahead and get some type of insurance that's actually here in Colombia. So yeah, I mean, that's just the route we're going as of right now. Now, as far as you mentioned like kids who may have like learning did you say something about learning disabilities or
No, I
learning
was just saying
things?
pre-existing conditions. Somebody might come with
Okay.
diabetes or like, because access to medicine may be important. And I know it pales in comparison. Everything is behind glass windows and doors in the United States when it comes to medicine, whereas in Colombia you can get a lot of things over the counter.
Oh yeah, there's a pharmacies everywhere. Pharmacies are everywhere. You can just go ask the pharmacist, hey, do you have this? Or you can sometimes tell them this is what's going on, and they'll say, oh, you should just take this and give it to you. You don't even have to go to the doctor. So that is a problem. Clinics are everywhere, hospitals are everywhere, like doctors' offices are everywhere. That is not a problem. People will even medical people will even come to your house and
Yeah.
assist you when you need it. If you can't leave the house, they will come to you and help you out and diagnose you and get you what you need. So medical, not worried about it at all.
Nah, and it is affordable. So I have had multiple scenarios where I needed medical assistance. Like I had the flu. My dog was sick, and so I've dealt with a human doctor and I've dealt with a veterinary doctor in Colombia, and it is the I don't want to say it was the best experience ever because it's a doctor's visit, but it was the best experience ever because I was sick. And you know, when you get sick, if you're a parent, imagine trying to get your sick kid out of the house to the hospital, sitting in urgent care. You have to wait for all of that time. Well, they, like you said, they come to your house. So all of what
Mhm.
you would have to go outside for, they're coming into your house. And even though I have travel medical insurance that covers me globally. It cost me $40 to get the person in the house. I didn't. There was no claim that needed to be done. It was $40. They came to the house. Not only did they come to my house, they were able to give me prescription medication that I was able to get delivered to my house. So when you're sick and going out and dealing with 20, 30 minutes in the no, that's a lot. 1 to 2 hours plus, depending on what kind of season it is, in the emergency room or urgent care. Then you spending 5 to 6 minutes max with a nurse, and then some guy in a white jacket spins around and says, "Thanks for coming. Here's the stuff that we're giving you." It is a completely different process when it comes to healthcare. Never mind how much it costs. It's like I can get sick and my process is better and I can afford to pay to get better without being so knee deep in care. Like I gotta switch up my our 2026 because or 27 I guess because it's just like we're not even in the States enough to be paying what these premiums are now costing in the United States. Like meanwhile my insurance that covers me everywhere except the United States and Canada costs me $60 a month. That
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
the biggest difference in what a lot of people are, whether you're raising children abroad or you're just trying to live your own life. It is something that, with healthcare being a reason why the entire government is shut down, and now we're on a pinky promise that it might get taken care of or it might not. And so many of you just had to finish our open enrollment. Look at what healthcare premiums are going into next year, and they're saying, I better not get sick. I better not get sick. And those things aren't
Oh,
burdening you outside.
right. And I have had experience with the medical system in Panama
Okay.
City. I actually chose to go to Panama City to have a surgery done because I did not trust what would happen in the United States.
Hmm.
Honestly, that was the main reason. I actually, and I mean, I'm okay with talking about it, but I have fibroids. And my main concern was that I was going to get up from that table in the United States and my uterus was going to be gone because I heard
Mhm.
so many Black women talk about how they went to just get their fibroids removed and they ended up giving them a hysterectomy and they did not want that. And that's not what I wanted. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let me try something else out. I ended up going to Panama. When we were there for 1 month with the kids, I actually booked an appointment with a doctor there and talked to her. She did the whole test and did everything. And she was like, yeah, we can do your surgery, no problem. Went back to Panama. I took the kids back to the United States, went back to Panama for another month to have the surgery and recover. When I tell you that was the best experience I've ever had, ever, those people took care of me. My doctor cared. It was 3 o'clock in the morning and something was going on, and we didn't know what was happening. And we called her on her cell phone. We had her personal cell phone number. Anytime I needed anything, I just had to pick up the phone and call, and then she would handle it with the nursing staff or do whatever, or come up there or send another doctor or partner doctor. They took care of me.
Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
after the surgery, she continued to follow up with me on the phone. I went to her office. She made sure I was okay. I mean, I loved it. You know what I mean? Not that I loved
Hmm.
having surgery. I loved the fact that they cared so much
Hmm.
about me and made sure I was okay. I would always choose to have a surgery in another country. I'm sorry. It's just
It's crazy. It's like, you don't get that treatment in your home country at the same time they're telling you be grateful for even having access to terrible care. And it's like you move abroad to everyone in America has heard the term third world country, and I think it takes living outside of America to realize that, when you were a kid and they say you got one finger pointing out and fingers pointing back in, like that's
Mhm.
America when it comes to calling other people third world countries when so many of their citizens just don't have the bare necessity to just be alive, or see the government say, we want you to be alive. Here's some quality food. Here's some safety. Here is enough money if you work for a major company to afford to have a house. Like these things, we talk about them like they're these luxury things, and it's like, what? Like we're talking about basic things that you see in places that have been deemed third world country by America, that you're able to access without all of this red tape and these barriers. And I need more people to understand this entire conversation is not only about what you get to access on the other side, but a lot of what you may need to start doing before you leave, that intention and the mindset of saying, hey, let me be patient. Hey, let me take some time. Let me be open to these things. And I want to talk to you about openness because I when I first got to Colombia, I met a guy and I asked him where he was from. We were in the room. We were one of the only people that were American in the room. And I was like, where are you from? He's like, I'm a global citizen. I'm like, where are you from, my brother? What part of the United States are you from? Could you please tell me? Because I'm really curious. But I was like, you know what? Never mind. So I saw him later, and he was in the airport in Medellin, and he was like, oh, I'm going home. And he's like, I'm going home to Denver. And I was like, aha, Denver. You're from Denver. Now I got it. Now, fast forward, time goes past, and I'm starting to really, really live my Colombian outside of American life now. And I realized that my man wasn't far off. Getting America off you is a process, and becoming a global citizen is a real thing. But as a parent, you have a very unique scenario because you are looking to raise global citizens, kids that will grow up to be adults that have a certain advantage that their peers may not have. Talk to me
Mhm.
about how you've helped your kids navigate this life abroad, because it comes with new food, which you said you got a picky eater. It comes with the pace of life being different, or even access to certain kinds of sports.
Well, so I kind of just kind of test it out, really. Like, so with the food, I just say, hey, let's just go try something out. So when we first came to Medellin, I did a fruit tasting tour because there are a lot of different fruits and things that we don't have in the United States that are here, and we are like, what is this? And do we like it?
Mm-hmm.
Do we not like it? So
Mangosteen.
one thing I did, right. So one thing I did was take them on the fruit tasting tour, and that was in this huge marketplace where they sell all types of things. So they were exposed to like the marketplace, the culture, and the food at the same time.
Okay.
I also do things like when we go to the grocery store, let them pick out their snack. Let's try something new. Let's see if you like it, and if we'll buy it. And if you don't like it, okay, we won't buy it again. So like doing different things like that. Getting out and just doing activities, just trying things and seeing what's in the city for kids to do, which there are a ton of things here in Medellin for kids to do. So getting out and engaging, letting them play with these Spanish speaking kids, even though they don't speak Spanish. At first, I was like, oh gosh, you know how you go in protective mode, like, oh my goodness, my baby don't speak Spanish and he ain't
Helicopter
gonna know.
parent.
But I had to get to the point to where I'm like, no, just let it happen. Release it, let it happen, and they fine. They may not understand each other, but they know enough to play with each other. So you know how kids
Play
are.
is
They
international.
just they do their
Yep.
thing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of had to back off and just let the experience happen for them. Let it, as long as it's not dangerous or whatnot, just let it happen. They like to play soccer or football, what we should be calling it. I have not put them on a football team yet because first, I really don't know which team to put them on. Second, they don't speak Spanish, and I don't know if they're going to understand the coach and the teammates and all that stuff yet. So I'm now telling them like you have to learn Spanish because they were kind of pushing back on that. But I'm like,
Uh,
you have to learn Spanish because if you want to play football, you have to be able to understand them. So like right now, my son is in the other room taking his Spanish class. He whined about it, but he's taking that Spanish class because he wants to play football, you know?
That's dope.
So just doing things and then getting them back acclimated to what they used to do in the United States. So we haven't been able to do all the sports yet, but eventually we will. And I told them we will. We are going to get some scooters eventually so we can all, roll around in our scooters. So just like those types of things. Now, on the other hand, the school they're in is very interesting because they're now learning about different countries and cultures. Now, again, I have one child in kindergarten, which they call it transition year. My other kid is in third grade. Well, my kindergartner had a whole presentation where he had to dress up and say his whole speech about Morocco today. So
Wow.
this morning I'm at the school looking at my kindergartner talk about Morocco. They don't do that kind of
In
stuff in the United States.
Colombia. That's
In
nuts.
Colombia, my 8-year-old who's in third grade, he has a presentation about Syria soon. So we got to get him ready for Syria. So like they would never do a presentation about any countries in the Middle East or Africa or anything like that in the United States. But here in Colombia, yes, they are. They're doing it. So, I mean, they're getting exposed to a lot of different things.
Nah, that even get listen, that gave me goosebumps because I'm excited for them to have that kind of exposure. I see so many people getting the first chance to move abroad full term for leave the United States for the first time and seeing their lives change as they get comfortable out here and knowing just how impactful moving abroad is. So when I see the young people that are your kids, the other kids that are in the community that are coming up. I think Mojo's daughter, when I met her, she was like 8 or 9 or something like that, and I think she's like almost 12 or is 12, and I'm like, time is flying. These kids are actually growing up outside, and I'm seeing them succeed and do things where I'm like, this is what we talk about when we talk about the opportunity that you have. Maybe you don't have any children, but you as an adult have an opportune time right now to actually go out of the country and succeed and meet people like myself and Kelly and what the other communities provide around the world. But it's your decision to do it the right way. It's easy to do it the wrong way. We're seeing it right now. But hopefully tonight you heard about some ways that you can add some of these things that Kelly did, add some of these things that I did into your relocation toolkit because they are designed so when you run into a challenge, you say, okay, let me go in here because I have something for that. But so many of you guys are running in outside with an empty book bag and there's nothing to reference. There's nothing to go back to. There's nobody to help you. So I need you guys to understand that this move abroad, we can do it together, but you guys are going to be the end result and who is doing the intentional things, who is shifting their mindset to can I transform and how do I make this a reality? November 22nd will be here. We're about 12 days away. November 14th will be here, which is a more important date because that is with the end of our early bird discount tickets. You guys can go right now to moodtravelabroad.com. They can get your tickets. What I tell people is it is a conference that is for the person that is actually serious about moving abroad. We bring all of the foundational resources. Miss Kelly will obviously be back getting even more detailed and giving you different information about what this looks like for kids, for parents, for families that are looking to shift their lives and change and give themselves the opportunity to start a new legacy and new tradition. So I need you guys to make certain you guys go to, if you haven't already, moodtravelabroad.com. That is where you can lock in your tickets today. Each day of the 12 days of relocation, we pick 10 particular people who purchase a general admission ticket. You automatically get comped over to a VIP ticket, but you do need to purchase to be in the building. I also want to make certain that you will be back tomorrow because we have a number of things we will talk about. We will be talking about how you make money online. That is important. You guys are always in my inbox about what do you do for work? Well, we're going to tell you. We will also be on live tomorrow with the student loan doctor. So if student loans and people, Navi and Nelnet, Auntie Sally Mae been calling your phone saying you owe us money. Many people are now looking at moving abroad, lowering their finances, and being able to pay off of their student loans. But you need to know how, what repayment loan options are available to you. So we do have that coming up for you tomorrow. I look forward to continuously having these conversations ahead of the conference, as well as seeing everybody that is here tonight on the conference, so you can get this information, so you can start living your best life. Miss Cully, you got anything for everybody before you we get out of here?
I would just say if you are thinking about it or if you are afraid, just know it doesn't have to be a permanent situation. Just at least try it out. Save some money, try it out for a little bit, and decide if you like it or not. This is not something where it's set in stone. So at least give yourself the opportunity to give it a try for an extended period of time if you can, and make an informed decision. Make sure you have resources. Make sure you set yourself up for success if you make this move, because you're going to need it. You're going to need community, you're going to need support, you're going to need resources. So make sure you do whatever it is you need to do to have those things in place to make this relocation journey a little bit easier for you.
No, that's real, and it's from the heart. And she knows what she's talking about because she actually did exactly what you are looking to do. So if Colombia is on your mind, Santa Marta, Medellin, Cali, Playa del Carmen, Mexico, Cape Town, South Africa, or Panama City, Panama, November 22nd is the place that you want to be in attendance. MoveTravelAbroad.com is where you're going to go get those tickets. You can lock in your early bird discounts today through the end of Friday, November 14th. I will see you guys tomorrow. Please jump in my DMs, my messages, my comments. Let me know what is on your mind, what you may want to hear about. Let me know what it is I can do to help you guys succeed in this move abroad and relocation journey. I appreciate you guys. I have been RJ. You guys have been great. I will see you the next time.